Let's start with Georgia because it is sort of that elephant in the room, that hump they're trying to get over. And Jake Fromm and those receivers, what are your expectations out of them to be able to be one of these last four teams standing at the end?
Yeah, I mean, Georgia's my favorite right now to make a run at the national championship, and it starts up front. But with Jake Fromm, what you notice and what you love about his game is it's entirely predicated off anticipation. He is so good at getting the ball out early. He picks you apart if you play zone. But we forget that last year going into week 8, he was actually the third worst quarterback on third down in the Power 5. Problem is, more man coverage, more pressure in his face. So with an inexperienced group at wide receiver, what I start to worry about is it's harder to anticipate. You don't know where those guys are going to be. It takes longer to get on the same page, and you don't have the same type of guys that can separate like you did last year. You had guys, 4 guys got drafted in the NFL last year. How many times that happened that caught balls from Jake Fromm? So as good as he is, as much as command he has on that offense, that group is going to take about half the season to really hit their stride.
Yeah, Jake, when we saw him at SEC Media Days, he talked a lot about how he's spending a lot of time on his own with those receivers, trying to build that chemistry. When you're trying to do that as a quarterback, how real is it at this point?
I was just going to say that's the hardest part because it's great. You can get out there in shorts and T-shirts and you can be on the same page and go through all the timing. That goes out the window when there's 11 guys on the defense trying to stop you. Timing gets completely thrown off. So transfer from Miami, Lawrence Cager, big body. He's going to be a great target. Demetrius Robertson, 2 years ago, transferred from Cal. Just kind of the odd man out last year. He's going to be a great guy to step into a big role, but it's not going to happen week 1. It's going to happen week 4, week 5 when those guys really get game reps. You can't replace game reps. That's not 7-on-7. That's not fall camp. The real chemistry happens in the games.
Yeah, and you've got to circle that game against Notre Dame in late September. It is in Athens. Okay, let's talk about the rest of the SEC. Your biggest question mark heading into this season in the SEC?
I think it's got to be Auburn. I think Auburn's one of those teams that sits on the outside, and you look at their defense. Their defense can win them an SEC championship for sure. Now, it's tough playing in the West, obviously. But my biggest question mark is they were so predictable on offense last year under Gus Malzahn with a quarterback that's now with the Patriots, a quarterback that the NFL thought very highly of, yet they didn't put enough in an offense. Now you have a great defense. You have 2 young quarterbacks. Gus Malzahn is now officially the offensive coordinator, even though he has been. We all know that. So what does he do with young quarterbacks who can't take a huge load? Does their offense still look predictable? The good thing is they're mobile. To me, Joey Gatewood, I think he's going to win the job, but if it's him or Bo Nix, they got to get back to Auburn football looking like Auburn football, which is a mobile quarterback running the football and playing good defense.
Yeah, teach us a little more about Malzahn's offense and what he wants to call, because there is sort of this thought process in some of the offenses in college football now that it is a little easier to process from the quarterback standpoint with that mobility and kind of relying on innate athleticism.
It totally is. If you look at what they want to do, they want to be predicated off zone read. And with Jarrett Stidham, him not being a mobile quarterback, they used a lot of jet sweep to try to get to that and easy dump offs. That was not working. So when you do have a mobile quarterback, yes, it gets more simple, but you put the defense in more of a bind. So it can make up for the fact that it's a little more simple. It's a little easier to figure out. But then again, these guys have never played college football on this level, and Auburn needs to win right away. Oh, by the way, they got Oregon right out the gate. So they got to catch up in a hurry.
That is so must win on both sides. I'm excited for that week 1 game probably more than any other. We're so glad you're watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports and analysis, download the ESPN app. And for live streaming sports and premium content, make sure you subscribe to ESPN Plus. We'll see you there.